Hi YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my thoughts on the episode 3 of Many Sides of Jane, and this episode was called Alexis versus Jane. I did jot down some notes because I didn't want to forget a lot of the things that I wanted to talk about, so hopefully I don't sound like I'm all over the place. Let's just get right into it. So on this episode, it was, in my opinion, Jane's attempt to like take control of Alexis, which is her 17-year-old part. And one thing that I noticed, and I haven't really distinguished if that's just Jane as a person or it's in certain parts that she seems to be really fidgety. I noticed like in therapy sessions or when she's not, like she's pretty fidgety with her hair. And I'm not sure if that's just the part of Alexis and being a 17-year-old as well. But that was one thing that pretty much stuck out in the last episode too. But this one I could really see it. It was really interesting to see her, I would say, struggle with trying to keep her in, especially with her looking for a job. I thought it was really cool how they showed the just her process and her thoughts and her experience on trying to be a normal person and look for a job and just go for a job that she wants, and versus to having to really sit down and put a lot of thought into what job would really fit with the parts that she has. So that was really interesting to see. I really liked the poetry event that they went to. In the car, she was sort of, she didn't want to put on makeup because she didn't want Alexis to appear, because Alexis wears the makeup and more impulsive and different things like that. And just how she wanted to be present in the moment herself as Jane. That was her first time sharing her work at a poetry event, and she just really wanted to be in the moment of herself, and it showed just how a person with DID struggles with their different parts and just wanting to be in the moment and enjoy whatever moment that they're in. So I thought that was a good thing to show. And also the job and interviewing for the bartender job. During the interview, I think Alexis did enter into the picture at some point, and you were able to kind of see the switch. But it was empowering for me to see her still go through with it, because I know that she knows it's always that chance, whether she's at home with her kids or whether she's out or whether she's at work or whatever she's doing. It's always that chance of a part coming up and not necessarily knowing what part is going to show up. But I liked how in this episode, in between her talks with her psychologist, as well as just her in her daily life, it showed the connection between how the parts are connected with the different activities and things that are going on in her life. For instance, one of the things that really stuck out in this episode for me was how Beth, the 10-year-old part came out as she was talking to the guy that was making the drinks. And she kind of shed light a little bit after the scene was over and everything, of how Beth came out, because it was a trigger for her. And then, as the discussion went on, it was the realization that just with liquor and men, it tends to trigger her in things that she's been through in her past. And how she described Beth coming in then, because it was that trigger with the man and alcohol involved, and how Beth was there and held most of the memories of her abuse from the past and everything that happened. So it was a good way to show and educate others on just how the parts work and how they may come out, and how sometimes things tend to trigger them, trigger the person. I thought that was really good to know. it was amazing for her to be able to sort of process that and know that. And then at the end of the episode, it seems like a lot of stuff came together for her, like saying that she has to look for a job that works well with all the parts. And it kind of brought everything back full circle to the first episode of how she doesn't, her goal is not to really get rid of the parts, is to have all the parts sort of work together for the good of Jane and the good for everyone. So I think this episode was really good in kind of bringing the whole thing of finding a job and everything full circle. I like the fact that her psychologist is so calm and so just so there with her through each and every part that comes out, and just through her maneuvering, but also giving her that space to grow herself. Like, not so much telling her, well, this is this and this is why this, but letting her work through it. And I think that's so important, because then a person, even in general with someone who doesn't have DID, when therapists and counselors kind of let the client arrive to that place themselves, I believe it has a greater impact on the person, and a much lasting effect of how they'll process things going forward with different areas and aspects in their life. To end it, I know I don't want to talk too long. I've already been talking for 6 minutes, but to end it, this episode kind of brought together how Alexis has grown as a person. I really liked how she connected the tattoo that she had with how she was feeling and where she was at in life, and just how Alexis has grown as a person from the beginning to now, and how she has actually matured, and just the collaboration and communication and the connection that she has with Alexis and the rest of the parts, as well as her being Jane. So I thought this episode was, again, another awesome episode. I like the fact of the amount of education that's in it. It's not just a documentary. It's not just a reality show. It's not just we're just following someone that has this disorder and we're just watching things unfold. I really feel like the showing of the different sessions or pieces of the sessions that she had with her psychologist is real important as to understanding just how DID works and how it's working, particularly in Jane. So again, awesome. I love this show. If you guys haven't watched it, I definitely would recommend you to watch it, because it's really educational. It gives a background to, once again, a lot of trauma that people experience, and just how when trauma isn't addressed, it can go different ways with your mental health. So again, thanks for watching. Leave me any questions or comments you have down below. Anything that stuck out for you, anything that you want to talk about, leave them for me, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.